Hey everybody, welcome back to Philosophy. I got 3 more questions. I'm going to jump right in. 1. What is synesthesia or synesthesia? However you say it. Very funny that I can't say it, as you'll see in a moment. Well, people have externally, people actually have a lot of senses, but we regard people as having 5 external senses, 5 means of understanding things about the outside world. Vision, hearing, smell, tasting, and touch. Those are the 5 that we think of. There's temperature, pain, pressure, balance. There's a lot, actually. Time. But I think I actually covered that once. But anyway, in some instances, there's actually an overlap. And in humans, at least, there's already kind of an overlap. Your sense of smell, olfaction, and taste, gustation, there's an overlap. You probably remember that when you were a kid and you did that experiment where you smelled an onion and took a bite of an apple at the same time. There's an overlap there. They bleed together, bleed into one another, whatever. You get the idea. But in synesthesia, it's this idea that sometimes other senses can blend into one another. And I, for example, actually have a auditory, visual form of synesthesia. So for me, certain corresponding musical notes produce colors. And additionally, certain words have associated colors. Days of the week, for example. And it's very common. I don't happen to have this, but some people, numbers have associated colors. And for some reason, I could be misremembering, but I think when I was really little, I had an association of numbers and colors, and I think maybe it was sort of trained out of me, but maybe I'm misremembering that. But for example, days of the week and musical notes, definitely there's color patterns associated with that. So that's what synesthesia is. Some people claim to smell sound and feel color and so on. In other words, there is a blending together of 2 senses that under normal circumstances there isn't. So yeah, I think it's something like 5% of the population has synesthesia in some variation or another. Probably more, really. Let's see, next question. Why do poems rhyme? Well, that was popularized by the Romance languages. Latin, well, actually, I'm not even sure about Latin, but, further down the road, Italian, French, post-Gallic French, the Romance version of French. People, not the Franks, in other words. Let's see, Spanish. Those languages lended themselves very well, particularly Italian, to the rhyming scheme, and that's what made poems a rhyming structure. That's not the case with all poems. Japanese haiku, it's based on syllables. Free verse, it's just based on meter. Blank verse, it's not based on anything. And the old Germanic style of poetry, including the Old English, was based on alliteration. So, Brunnen, Brecke, Brauen, Bread, again, I'm making up gibberish, but that's what it sounded like. It was based on alliteration rather than rhyming. So that's really, to say that poems rhyme, it's more of a cultural component. And it just so happens that because the Normans learned French, the Romance version of French, before they invaded Britain, that's really what contributed to this notion that poems rhyme, and that's what's made at least in Anglophone countries, the association between poetry as a structure and a rhyming scheme. So yeah, let's see. What if we just killed all the bacteria and viruses? Okay, well, without viruses, I don't think anything would just straight up go extinct. But certain animals would probably breed unchecked without viruses. So it would have an ecological impact, and probably a more negative one than a positive one. More importantly, though, if we got rid of all bacteria, the human race would die out within days. because even though you might be, in terms of mass, mostly a cluster of somatic human cells, cell for cell, you're more bacteria than human. So you're a very diverse ecosystem comprised of lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of bacteria. And if we somehow found a way to eradicate all bacteria from the earth, most of the biomass of Earth would be gone. That would be scary. Things wouldn't decompose properly. But more importantly, in the short term, I mean, in the long term, that's the end of the world. But short term, you wouldn't be able to survive anyway because you are a colony. You're a city of bacteria. So, yeah, wouldn't be good. Would not be good. I know that all this stuff going on right now is making people want to just get rid of everything smaller than a flea, but it wouldn't work out. Like, share, subscribe, keep asking questions. Bye.